Forbidden Knowledge Television.
This is logged in on November 25th, 2023, Eastern Standard Time. Sensitive material has been breached and it is now in front of the public. This is very sensitive documentation and the world will be in total chaos if leaked, and it is now leaked. All of it. Not one document, all of it. Place of exploitation, Forbidden Knowledge Television. This must be stopped.
All right. Billy Carson here, aka Forbidden Knowledge. What's happening, everyone? Hey, we got we got Third Phase of Moon in the house. What's going on, Third Phase of Moon? Make sure you guys check out all of the Third Phase of Moon productions on Amazon Prime Video. They make the most amazing documentaries, and I'm so proud and blessed to be in several of those amazing documentaries dealing with disclosure and Dr. Stephen Greer and many others, congressmen, and you name it. They've done a phenomenal job. So shout out to Third Phase Moon. Appreciate you guys. Today, we're going to do a little Q&A tonight, all right? A little Q&A, all right? A little Q&A. So let's see what's happening. We have 237 people. It's filling up pretty fast here in the live chat. Let's get this chat up. Hit that like button. And please make sure y'all go ahead and share the video. And make sure you subscribe, okay? So if you're not a subscriber, please subscribe so you can get the notifications. And I will drop my phone number in here so you can get on my text message list, because as you know, most of these notifications do not go out. Okay, so you can always text me at 888-609-3975. All right, text me there, and then I'll add you to the text list. And so when I go live, I'll send out a text message. You'll get a text on your phone with a link. You'll know I'm live. You can just tap on that, and boom, here we are. Because as you know, these platforms, for whatever reason, they just don't send out all the notifications. Maybe it's a technological issue, because technically, there could be hundreds of millions of text messages going out or notifications going out simultaneously. Maybe their systems just can't handle it. I'm not sure. But whatever the case may be, the number again, 888-609-3975. And you can text me there. And to be honest with you, I answer about 30 to 40 questions a day by text. I can't get to the hundreds that come in, but you might get lucky and you might be one of the questions that I answer or respond to inside the text message app that I have. I do respond to people in there. I just can't respond to every single person, but you can ask questions and so forth in there as well. All right. So anyway, I appreciate y'all. Thank you for the great comments. We have a lot of people here. We have Sarah, Melanated. What else we got in here? Danny Walker. All right, cool. Rocky Road. By the way, I am live on Twitch right now. So I'm live on Twitch. If you don't follow me on Twitch, follow me at Billy Carson on Twitch. My Twitch account is fairly new. It's only been up for about a month. I think it's only got 260 followers there so far. But I am going to start putting a lot of content on Twitch as well, because I have to go where the people need the knowledge. So while they're on there gaming and playing around and doing whatever they do over there, they're going to come across some of my content, and they're going to sit there and they're going to learn a little something, and they're going to get that knowledge. What's up, Coach Balfour in the house? All right. So tonight we're going to do a little Q&A tonight. I'm not going to keep y'all too long, probably about 35, 40 minutes of Q&A. I just wanted to pop in and do something tonight. This weekend, I'll be working on some in-depth podcasts. They'll be pre-recorded because I want to give some great production value. I'll be doing several podcasts this weekend. 2 of them will be going on the Billy Carson official YouTube account. So if you don't follow Billy Carson official, that's my other YouTube account. I've got 5 of them, but that's the other one that I'll be putting up a lot of my new manifestation series on. Okay, so I'll be doing consistent manifestation videos and inspiration and motivation videos there on Billy Carson official. And this weekend, I'll film a couple of those. And for this channel, this weekend, I'm going to do a completely in-depth expose on the Boogosphere. So that supposedly, quote unquote, an alien device or a device that they can't detect where it's from or exactly what it does. All right. And so I'll be doing a video on the Boogosphere. Thank you, Genova Bien, thank you so much for your support over the years. I really appreciate you. So the Boogosphere, and then the second one I'm going to do is on the Epstein files. I'm going to do an in-depth expose into the Epstein files. I'm not going to be naming celebrities and things like that. I'm just going to be going into the history and the story behind the Epstein files and Ghislaine Maxwell and why the big cover-up. And the reason why I can't name any specific celebrities is because I haven't officially seen any real list other than a very small list that was published, I don't know, 5 months ago that they put out, which was just we have no idea what the people on that list did or didn't do. But it's pretty interesting that they decided to cancel it and act like it was this guy didn't do anything. It's he committed real suicide, and he he's just he didn't have a list. He didn't have a black book. So, well, then why was he even locked up in the first place is my biggest question. If he didn't do anything, and if he didn't have anything, if he didn't know anything, why was he in jail? So, some of the things I'll tackle in that video. Okay. Some of the things I'll tackle in the video. And of course, Ghislaine Maxwell wanting to come forward and testify as to the information in the book, the flight list, but they denied her. So they're keeping her quiet. They hushed her too. So I'll be talking about that. I'll be making a video. It's going to be an edited video. I don't want to do it live. I want to make sure I get all the information together and all the facts proper. And then, because, you're going against the mainstream, you're going against the government and everything else. So you got to make sure you have all the facts so that they don't just come and try to shut off the video or delete it. And then the Boogosphere, which is this incredible spherical device that supposedly has been seen flying around anti-gravity properties, and somebody was able to capture it. And it's been getting scanned and investigated and researched now for quite some time. And the information has finally gone public. And even producers are making documentaries about this thing. So I want to dig into that too. All right. Pretty cool stuff. Anyway, let's get this party started. We're at 900 in the live chat. Okay, so that's good enough to get this thing started. Lawless Light says, have you had any OBE experiences? So thank you for the donation, by the way, Lawless Light. So yes, I have. And that was an experience that I talked about in a few podcasts. It took me years to come forward with that information. And it for me, it was kind of the thing that gave me a lot of fear, a lot of anxiety. I didn't feel good about discussing it or talking about it because it's frowned on in the community, not this community, obviously, the Black community. And these types of experiences, alien encounters and everything else are supposed to be hush, hush, quiet. You're not supposed to talk about them. You're not supposed to express them. You're not supposed to even think it even could possibly happen. And if you do, it's not looked at. You're not looked at in a good light, basically. And also it, affected my family. The knowledge of this affected my family at the time, my family at the time. This is a long time ago. And it was a very strange experience. So this is why I can't discount anybody's experience. People come up to me all the time and tell me all these incredible things that have happened to them or things that they've experienced. And there's no way, shape, or form that I can ever look at somebody in the face and say, man, get out of here with that fake information. There's no way I can do it because I know I've had some incredible experiences myself. And because of that, I can't judge anyone else's experience. Whatever they claim to have experienced, or whatever they feel or think that they've experienced, I've got to accept that wholeheartedly. Okay. Angelina Mathis. Hey, Billy, thanks for sharing your wisdom. What's SNNC? SNNC is a publicly traded company called Sabanic. Sabanic is actually cannabis spelled backwards. They're a publicly traded company that recently has engaged Forbidden Knowledge. We have been doing collaborations in business together. They sponsor the Forbidden Knowledge podcast. They put out 2 press releases prior to this, actually, the one that came out the other day. And in the most recent press release, they acknowledge that we are negotiating, giving them an equity stake in Forbidden Knowledge, as they will then invest into Forbidden Knowledge and help the company expand and grow. And then eventually their ultimate goal is to create a spinoff through their company and hit NASDAQ. So that's Sabanic. There's been a great press release that just came out a couple days ago. And the press release is mind-blowing. I'm just going to read a couple of sentences for you before I go to the next question on that press release here. Let me just pull it up real quick because it really is amazing. Okay. Let me just see here. I got it right here. And we're really excited over here. My team is extremely, extremely excited about this. This is huge for Forbidden Knowledge. This is what we've been waiting for a long time. Really, it's finally arrived. The time has finally arrived, and we've set intentions out there, and we finally manifested the intention to link up and sync up with a company that's on the same frequency that we are, and it's really mind-blowing that we are here right now. But you have to automatically assume that these types of things are going to happen, and that it's not happenstance or luck, that we put the intention out. And because we put the intention out, we now have, rendezvoused with, in real time, we've rendezvoused with this reality. And this reality is now upon us, and we're living it right now. So it's an amazing thing. I'm just pulling up the press release. It says, Sabanic Inc. and Forbidden Knowledge Inc. announced a co-marketing partnership to launch podcasts, plant medicine retreats, and innovative wellness products. It goes on to talk a little bit more about that, but then it gets into, let's see where it gets into. Okay. Kicking off the collaboration, Sabanic CEO David Mirsky will travel next week to meet Billy Carson, record their first podcast. Okay, that was the previous one that we did just a little while ago. That one just came out. Let's see if this one's, I'm looking for the one on NASDAQ right now. Yeah, this is great stuff. I mean, this is like mind blowing. Yeah. When I got the phone call from David over at SNNC Sabanic, that's their stock symbol, by the way. SNNC is their stock symbol, which is available on all platforms for buying shares, except for Robinhood. I don't think it's on Robinhood, but it's on pretty much almost everything. Okay. All right, here we go. Let's see if this is it here. Okay. Okay, here we go. Plans for acquisition and spinoff. The companies are currently formulating an acquisition by Sabanic, resulting in an equity stake in Forbidden Knowledge, aligning the two companies for long-term success. Under the current plan, Sabanic will ultimately spin off the acquired assets into a new entity on NASDAQ, marking a major milestone for Forbidden Knowledge's future in the public markets. And I just wanted to read specifically directly from the press release, because this is all done by attorneys and approved by attorneys and approved for guidance and everything else. So I don't want to speak things outside of the terms of what's actually in the press release. It's very important. When you start putting out press releases and talking about going public and forward-looking statements, it's very, very important that you don't make statements or say things that are out of the bounds of legal, because there will be legal ramifications. All right. So anyway, that's what SNNC is. It is a publicly traded company that has now put a vested interest into Forbidden Knowledge. Light King C, thank you for the donation. Wow, thank you, sir. Thank you for sharing your light and knowledge. I feel the need to read the Compendium of the Emerald Tablets again. What is your favorite book to read over and over? Wow, thank you for the donation there. The Compendium of the Emerald Tablets. Now, specifically the Emerald Tablets themselves, because the more you read them, the more you gain insight, the more you gain enlightenment, and the more you will find things not only in the text, but also within yourself that you didn't see before. And it's been told, from some of the wisdom keepers about the Emerald Tablets, that you should read it over 100 times. And I'm up to probably about 180 times from start to finish. And I'm telling you that the more you read it, the more insight you just get. It's something that just opens up something within the consciousness and expands your mind and allows you to see more and more into not only the nature of reality, but the nature of yourself. And it also encourages you to understand that we are going through phases in life, ups and downs, ins and outs, as above, so below, as within, so without, that we're all part of this cosmic dance, and that we are all going to eventually seek the light, that the light is our birthright. So it's an amazing text to read, one of my favorite books to read over and over again. Okay. Thanks for asking. And thank you for reading the book. Let's see. There was another one I want to show you real quick here, and then I'll get into some of the other ones that didn't have the donations. But I just want to capture these people first because it's only right. Oh, well, thank you for the donation, Michelle. I appreciate that. Thank you so much. And one last one here that I saw. All right. So many going across the screen. Here we go. Vincent Green, you think the Anunnaki could see through every atom? Well, I think that they had the technology to see into the subatomic level. And the reason why is because if you read some of these texts and you discover some of the technology that they're talking about that they had access to, like the tablets of destiny, and these tablets had the ability to see potential outcomes and futures and control weapons and everything else. Then they had these weapons that were incredibly strong and powerful, which means they knew how to split atoms, or they knew how to definitely get into the subatomic realm and affect matter at a very subatomic microscopic level. And in order to do that, you have to study these things. You have to study these technologies. And to do that, that means you need devices that can see into these technologies. They probably understood very well how to smash atoms together like we're doing now at CERN, at the Large Hadron Collider in Switzerland. And the reason why they do that is because they're learning how to make microscopic black holes. But it could be very well that the Anunnaki had similar technology that they utilized to test out the fabric of space-time and the nature of reality. And maybe they learned how to create these black holes through that same exact method, which would allow them to smash and burst atoms apart into quarks and muons and everything else that exists within the actual particle base of the atom, and create these microscopic black holes. But maybe they learned how to insert some type of exotic energy and grow them and make them stable. And maybe that's how come they were able to, according to them, create these these stable wormholes, or these stable gates that will let them walk from one place to another. In some of the texts, they call them a Du-Ran Key, a bond heaven earth, and they would walk from Earth back to their home planet, and then back from their home planet back to Earth again in some of the texts. So they had these stargates, and they had them connected to various different locations, not only on Earth, but even to different planets and moons. So they possibly did have that technology. All right, let's see. Thank you, Sharon Caruth. Well, you have Darius Wright on your podcast soon. I'd love to have Darius Wright on the podcast. I just got to get a hold of him. There's so many people that I'd love to have on the podcast. I've got to get a hold of Darius and many other people, and see if they're interested in coming on the podcast. I have a new podcast format for guests. If they're virtual, it'll be like this, obviously. But if they're in person, I have a brand new studio set up, which is phenomenal. You'll see some of those new podcasts, pre-recorded podcasts coming out on this network very soon. Okay. Thank you. Let's see. All right. What's this here? Oh, man, so many. This chat is moving fast. I can't even keep up with everybody. All right. Thank you, Diane Yolo. I appreciate you. Thank you, Tony. I appreciate you. All right. There we go. Let's see. Where are we here? Trying to find some other questions. I just answered that question. Let's see here. Pray 7, great book. Thank you, Mr. Carson, for the true knowledge shared with all. Appreciate you, Pray 7. Let's see. Oops, I just saw a question. Here it is. How do I release my personal life formula? What would be the best way to do that? Yamato Coaching. Personal life formula. It sounds like you want a coaching book, or you have a coaching book or some coaching instructions. The best way to do that would be, because I'm not taking any more publishing right now. I've got too many already stacked up on a waiting list. But what you can do is you can use Winter Wolf Publishing. Winter Wolf Publishing. Okay. Laura Cantu. You can contact them. Just go to her website and fill out the contact form. And then you can send over your manuscript. She will go ahead and edit that manuscript for you, format it into a book, get your cover done, get an eye-grabbing cover, and then she'll show you how to publish it on Amazon. Okay, so you can put your book in global distribution through Amazon, and then you'll get a royalty check every single month. That's really your best way at this point, unless you can get a major book deal, right? But right now, that's the best way to do it. Okay. Just a shy guy. What's good, Billy? The post on the Anunnaki and why they left us. Humans make so much sense. Why they stated humans were too noisy. It is easy to know. Yeah. So basically, I guess maybe you're asking, what's happened with the Anunnaki and why they left. In the Epic of Gilgamesh, the Epic of Gilgamesh, they were. I'm just turning the air conditioning on here with my app. The Epic of Gilgamesh, Enlil was talking about the fact that human beings were getting too noisy. They were clamoring around. They stink. They smelled bad. They were getting too much upheaval, and so he just said, he started killing them off. He said, "Go and kill them." Call them. Dry out their crops so they could starve to death. The ones that are making a lot of noise, just kill them off. And so they kind of really saw us. He did. He saw us as just animals. He didn't really even see us as sentient, conscious beings worth keeping or having any empathy for us or whatever. But I guess once we began to outnumber them to such a great extent, they really did a great job engineering our reproductive systems because, man, we manifested like rabbits on this planet. And so what happened is when they got to the point where it was just too overwhelming, and that last war that they had was just ridiculous and failed. They had their own war again. I think a lot of them just bailed out. In the text, they had released this weapon of mass destruction, which created an evil wind. And Enki went to his father, Anu, and he said to him, "Can you stop the evil wind? The black-faced people are dying." I guess in that region of the world, there were black-faced people. And it was killing the animals and the crops and everything. And Anu said to him, I cannot forebode the evil wind. He said, "Get into your skyship and forebode," which means get into your skyship, whatever that was, and get the hell out of here because I can't stop it. And it seems like after that incident, a lot of them left, and we kind of became an abandoned seed planet, and we kind of been really on our own. So that's kind of my take on it. Let's see what we got here. Monster Hunter PV, have you seen the zoomed in photos of structures on the moon? Oh yeah, I absolutely have seen them. I'm part of a group called the United Family of Anomaly Hunters on Facebook, UFAH. Our images have been published between the moon and Mars and even Venus, and some of the moons like Titan have been published on magazines, news articles on mainstream, Fox News, CNN, Huffington Post. A lot of our discoveries of these anomalies have been published in a lot of major places. And the moon has a lot of strange anomalies, and we have access to images that are pre-Photoshop, pre-obfuscation, pre-editing. And these are images from the 1970s and the 1980s that came from an actual astronaut, a training astronaut from the program, which we've done. I've been in documentaries about this and everything else. We also got access to the black box audio from one of the Apollo missions and the black box redacted text from the audio. And to me, it confirms that they're talking about seeing structures on the moon surface, as well as the fact that these images that we have show anomalies, things that shouldn't be there, which is why I wrote a blog that became famous that says, yes, we went to the moon, but yes, we lied about it. And why did they lie about it? And why did they show some fake footage? Well, because they wanted to go to the moon and do reconnaissance and gather intel and information and possibly even grab some of the stuff up there and bring it back with them. Okay. Grushida Grushdeva, how familiar are you with the growing, expanding Earth theory and its alignment with the electric universe? I'm convinced Klaus Vogel was right. Well, I believe in the electric universe. I definitely believe in that. I kind of touched on it in my book, which I don't have on my desk right now, The Fractal Holographic Universe, the Matrix Code Revealed. So I touched on some of the electric universe theory and on understanding and concept. And that, for example, light doesn't just leave the sun and come straight to your eye, or leave a distant star in the night sky. And then, if it's 20 million light years away, it took 20 million light years for that one photon to hit your retina. What's actually happening is that photon, or those photons, are on this electric grid. It's like a giant pixelated grid, except that the pixels are super, super microscopic. And that light is reanimating or repopulating itself energetically, each individual pixel, as it gets to your eye. The light that finally touches your eye is only a replicated version, in my opinion, of the original photon that left the source. And that everything that exists in the third dimension is moving on in a realm of pixelation, including my hands moving back and forth like this. I believe that my hands are, my personal opinion, guys, you might not agree with it, that what you're seeing, because my hands aren't even here, this is all an illusion. The atoms in my hands are 99.999% empty space. So what you're seeing is a collapsed wave function that looks like my hands. And as I move them, what's happening is this frequency called a hand is interacting with individual pixels and moving around, just like in a video game. You can move hands around, you can run in a video game, right? You can fight. And what's happening is every single pixel is being filled in with the color of the pieces needed to show you what that character looks like as you move. The character isn't a solid being. It's a wave function inside the game. And as you go into different rooms, those rooms appear as you need them to, because you're, well, in the video game, they're collapsing it into reality via the software program. In this video game called The Third Dimension, we collapse the next room or the next area into reality based on consciousness. Everything exists as a wave of potentials. It's called wave-particle duality in science, in quantum physics. Let's see here. Oh, same guy. My grandpa was on Admiral Byrd's last 3 missions. He said the war ended because Hitler brought us into contact with them. Yeah, I believe it. Admiral Byrd, he's talking about, decorated admiral in the U.S. Navy who got a mission to go down to find out what was going on in Antarctica with the Nazis, right? They were down there in this place called New Swabia. And it seems as if they had met, according to the lore now, they had met some beings down there that had given them access and information about building different types of advanced technologies. When Admiral Byrd went down there with a fleet of vessels, there was some type of a war that ensued, an unexpected war. These flying devices that in some way were attacking the Navy vessels, and some of them were destroyed. And they turned the whole fleet around and went packing it with their tail between their legs to go back home. And Admiral Byrd said, we're facing a brand new enemy, one that could fly from pole to pole with incredible speed. But this technology was either under the control of the Nazi, or these beings that, according to the Nazi, claimed they had met down there. Now there's bases down there from every major country on Earth in that same area. And they're research bases. They're next to this about 30-meter wide opening in the ice, and they're all studying something, but they won't tell us what they're studying. And Buzz Aldrin went down there a few years back when a lot of world leaders went down there. I guess he got invited, and he put a very cryptic tweet out on Twitter, which said that we're facing the ultimate evil. And then a few hours later, he deleted it, or somebody deleted it for him, but everyone has screenshotted it already. So it's a famous tweet that you can find online anywhere. But he must have had met some of these people or these beings or whatever it is they're doing down there. And from his perception, he thought it was the ultimate evil. It's exactly what he said. So that was pretty interesting. Uncanny Brandy, in your research thus far, have you ever came across anything that refers to flying craft that resemble jellyfish? That's a great question. I haven't come across anything specific that I thought would resemble a jellyfish. However, some of the drawings in the Indian Vedas of the flying cities fighting in the sky, there were sky battles with these flying cities. They do have the general shape of a jellyfish. They have that general dome-ish kind of a shape, and underneath they kind of have these objects at the bottom. I thought they might have been communications devices or something like that. I thought it was kind of odd that they would have that there. But if you want to really compare it side by side, I mean, depending on your perception, it could kind of resemble. All right. Let's see what else we got here. Let's see what this says. Explorer of national treasures and paleo giants. Billy, did you know that America's history is a big lie? Our founding fathers left the true history behind with Abraham Lincoln and Franklin D. Roosevelt. Well, that I believe definitely it's a complete lie. That's why they call it history. That means his story. And what is his story? The victor story, but or the story of the person that wants to keep something suppressed. But you look at the founding fathers themselves. Abraham Lincoln was not a founding father, but some of the founding fathers that you look at from the beginning of this establishment of the United States of America. Before it was the United States of America, it was the United States of Congress. Okay. And there were presidents before George Washington, if you didn't know this. So you have the United States of Congress, and I forget how many exact years, it might have been 10 years or so. And each president lasted about a year. They even had one black president during that time, the very first black president. The very first president of Congress was a black man. He's the black person on the back of the $2 bill. You look at the $2 bill, the shaded in person, that was him. They gave him the honor because he stayed and fought while the other soldiers ran, and he fought for the right for the meals and the clothing and the money for the spouses of the military who had been gone out for months and months and were starving. The family were home starving to death. And he led them straight on into battle. And because of that, they allowed him to become the first president of Congress. But that's a whole nother podcast to get into. But Franklin D. Roosevelt and these other guys, they all knew about the plurality of worlds. Benjamin Franklin was also a part of that. A lot of the original people who founded the Constitution, they were all about the plurality of worlds. They believed in life on other planets. They were not Christians. They didn't believe in the doctrine as it is being taught around the world today. They had different ideas about things. And these guys were rebels that went against the government, rebels that fought against the military, rebels that stood up and said, we're not gonna allow you guys to keep your boot on our neck. So these guys were all young. They were in their 20s and 30s. All those people who signed signed the Constitution and all that, they were in their 20s and 30s, kids, basically kids with a different way of thinking at the time. Unfortunately, they still had a lot of bad habits like slavery and everything else. But other than that, you have to admit these guys were geniuses. Although they did bring back the same exact taxation and everything else that we ran away from. They didn't bring it back specifically, but it ended up coming back anyway. We ended up coming back under the same exact situation. Matter of fact, when George Washington was due to be president, England asked him if he wanted to be a king or a president. He said, I'll be a president because that would give them the illusion of separation. So this whole thing's been a farce since the beginning. Okay. A farce, an absolute farce. All right, let's see here. Oops, here goes one. Billy, Hitler was talking blonde hair, blue-eyed aliens who look like us. Oh, this guy's a lot of guys. Same one, monster again. Yeah, Hitler was not promoting blonde hair and blue eyes. That's what I was taught in school. He was killing everybody who didn't have blonde hair and blue eyes. That actually is not accurate. What happened was these beings that he encountered in Antarctica had blonde hair and blue eyes. And they wanted to come back out, according to the lore. They wanted to come back out and they wanted to rule back on the planet. And they wanted him to kind of be their vizier, basically. Yeah, he'd be like the king, but they would be overseeing everything. But he didn't have blonde hair and blue eyes himself. So that's what the whole blonde hair and blue eye thing came from. And it got twisted and turned into something totally different. If you listen to Hitler's speeches that have been now translated by AI, you find out what he's saying. You can go look those up for yourself, and you can translate them yourself as well. You can just go get one of his crazy lectures where he's going all erratic and he's saying all this stuff, and just convert it into English and then listen to it. You'll be very surprised at what he's saying. He's talking about Christianity, and he's talking about getting these people's boot off their neck, the destruction of their society. Who has actually instigated the destruction of their society, who just instigated the destruction of their financial systems, who has been robbing the people and destroying and persecuting them as Christians. It's a group, the same group that he decided to try to eliminate, basically. Let's see here. Here's a good question. Hey, Billy, have you ever entered the halls of Amenti, and did you use astral projection, deep meditation, or ancient mantras like Mekku El Shab El? That's a great question. So I have entered the halls of Amenti, well, one of the halls of Amenti, in physical person, in this dimension right here. Every year when I take a tour to Egypt, I take people on tour. I take them to Enki's halls of Amenti, underground, and they see the rejuvenation chambers. They see how it looks like technology. They stand next to 1,000-ton diorite boxes that are still giving off background radiation, as I showed them on my Geiger counter. And matter of fact, I'll drop you guys a link right now to the next tour that I'm going to do. Let me see here, Egypt tour. I'll drop you guys a link right here in the live chat in case you want to come on tour and hang out with me. And if you want to go to the halls of Amenti, I'd be more than happy to take you there to see something that hardly anybody even knows exists, underground. All right. So I just dropped the link in the live chat. All right. So I just dropped the link. I'll drop it one more time. Register for that forbidden tour of Egypt, and you'll come hang out with me on several private visits. We'll fly from, and the flights within Egypt are all included. The Nile cruise is all included. Your food is all included, and everything is 10-star. We stay at the Four Seasons or the St. Regis, depending on where we are. And we have hand-picked food, chefs, and everything else. It's a glamping trip. It's an amazing trip. It's glamping, but we're going to be out there seeing things that hardly anybody knows even exist. All right. Let's see here. Let's see. All right, it's a lot of this chat is moving so fast because I'm connected to so many streaming accounts at once. I'm connected to 6 accounts at once right now. Infinite Rosetta says, was Thoth a true engineer, the true engineer behind making humans? Great question. No, I don't believe that he was an engineer behind making humans. Thoth actually was a very interesting being in that in all the accounts and all the ancient records, it seems he was a teacher. He was a teacher first, an instructor, and also a master architect. And when you look into the records, you find that he was a person that had a lot of empathy for people, a lot of empathy for humans. One of the reasons why I respect his character so much is because he was one of the very few of these Anunnaki, Atlanteans, whatever you want to call them, that did not proclaim himself to be a god. He didn't tell people to worship him, you know. And matter of fact, in the opening scene in the Emerald Tablets, his father tells him to go to the land of Kem and help them rebuild. So he gets his crew and he gets into the great ship of the master. And the ship seems to ascend into the sky because they say that he ascends until the earth disappears. And then he gets to a place appointed and sees Kem or Kemet, ancient Egypt, beneath him. And he descends down and he can see temples coming up out of the mud. And he says he can see the hairy barbarians of the caves in the desert. So when he lands this ship, this sky ship, he opens the doors. And as he's coming out, the people are coming to attack him, probably like territorial. He has a technology, a non-lethal weapon that he stuns them with. He sends out a ray of vibration and it stops them still like stone of a mountain. Then he releases them from this frequency weapon and he begins to talk to them about peace and that he's here. He's a son of Atlantis. He didn't say he was God. He didn't even say he was a son of God. He said he was a son of Atlantis and he's here to bring them back up to a high level of civilization. And he begins the rebuilding process with the people. They jump down to his feet and groveled at his feet. And he said, no, stand up. He says, no, stand up. I'm a son of Atlantis. And that's why I had so much respect for this being, because he could have taken that opportunity to feed his ego and have people worshiping him as a god. He only became a deity when he left. And the people who he left, because he didn't return, they began to tell Star-Lord and lore about him. And that became, eventually he became deified. Other than that, he never proclaimed himself to be any kind of a god whatsoever. Let's see. Let's see. Man, so many movies moving so fast. Hold on, guys. Sorry. Just looking for the next question here. Sean McCarty, 86. Have you heard of Dr. Malachi Z. York? He claims to be Thoth's fragments reincarnated and has written over 1,000. He talks about what you talk about. Listen, I've heard about Dr. Malachi Z. York. People have sent me pictures from some of his texts over the years. He has the big-headed Anunnaki with the big skulls, which I believe the skulls were definitely large based on what I know. You can see a lot of these skulls around the world they're in museums now. And he has his own particular take on the Anunnaki. I think a lot of what he talks about is accurate. I haven't really delved deep into his work, but you got to respect the man because he's going against the mainstream and talking about a topic for many, many years, probably longer than I have, about these beings coming from another place and interacting or engaging mankind in some way, and that they were really people just like us, I believe. I think that's his message, but they were super advanced. And they came from a planet named Nibiru, which was potentially a spaceship, if I remember some of his understanding correctly. But the thing about this ancient civilization and dealing with the Anunnaki, there are so many perceptions and takes on it, but they all have the underlying same base theme. People, advanced knowledge, came from somewhere else outside of this planet, engaged mankind, altered our future reality, okay, modified our DNA, made us into worker bees, and took control and put their boot on our neck. Some of them were good, some of them were bad, some had empathy, some didn't. And at some point they went to war. The war ended, and this became an abandoned seed colony. And here we are today. That's the general theme. Everybody has their own slight nuances, these researchers and archaeologists and teachers and instructors and everything else. But there are these slight nuances, which is fine. It's all up to interpretation in some ways. And so I believe in everyone's research, and I love everyone's research because there are parts of what they've studied and researched that maybe I didn't see before. And now I can add to my knowledge base, or I can look deeper into the area to gain more insight. So shout out to people like Dr. Malachi York and many others that are out there doing this research and study and having the courage, the absolute courage to talk about it and put it out there, because you already know what that's going to get you. It's going to get you a lot of attack and a lot of hate. Let's see here. Cassandra Green. Hey, Billy, I'm an RN with Holistic Coach Business, and I would love the opportunity to work with Forbidden Knowledge. How can I make that happen? Okay, Cassandra Green, great question. Well, we have a new Forbidden Knowledge Academy launching next week. And in the pre-launch stage right now, we've been doing some beta testing and everything else. It's going to be my mentoring program and my teaching academy as well. You'll be hearing and seeing a lot about this because it's going to be a huge part of Forbidden Knowledge. And after we get the gears going and grinding a little bit, we're going to start bringing in other knowledge-based teachers in various different niches and fields, especially life coaching and business coaching. So you have a great opportunity as we got to, of course, vet your information and see what you have, see what you know. But we will be bringing on additional teachers and instructors into the academy over time, little by little, gradually bringing them in to set up their classes within the academy. Building a full-blown Forbidden Knowledge Academy, guys, online. Starting next week, it goes live, and it's going to build, and it's going to be megalithic. And we have a lot of great talent lined up to come in as well. So it just won't be me, but initially, my initial masterclass is going to be in there. And it's the Wealth Frequency Masterclass. It's going to be my mentoring program. And you'll be able to interact directly with me in that academy. And so, Cassandra Green, you got to drop an email. I want you to email Cortez, Cortez, at forbiddenknowledge.com. Email Cortez at forbiddenknowledge.com. And send them all your information and your bio and all that good stuff, and some of the link to some of your stuff that you teach, so we can take a look at it. All right. Let's see here. Explore natural. Billy, the largest artifact I have is 34-pound steel battle axe with embedded gray blue stones at the fish with the fish man. Oh wow, sounds like something that the Noma would have been using in the Dogon tribe. Wow, incredible. Let's see here. A lot of great positive comments tonight. I really appreciate it, guys. Wow, let's see here. Man, I like this question right here. For Thunder 313, Mr. Carson, can you explain who Satan really was? Well, I personally believe, based on my research of the text, that Satan could be perceived as the two people, actually, depending on what section of the text you're reading. Enlil, and in some cases, even Anu, his father. But Yahweh, aka Enlil in the biblical text, predominantly is the evil one. The same Yahweh in the Epic of Gilgamesh, having humans just killed off whenever he feels tired of hearing them or tired of smelling them or whatever. There's a lot of instances where he's done a lot of bad things, including showing back up at the garden, okay, and getting pissed off at his brother Enki for talking to the humans and giving them some knowledge and letting them know that they're not animals. The apple was knowledge. Letting them know that they're not animals, which gave them an understanding that they were equals, and they put clothes on and they realized that they weren't animals, and that they were sophisticated. They had the capability of being a sophisticated race of people. He even told them the information about the fact that the way that their DNA is wired and the way they were engineered, they had the capability of becoming even more higher in stature than the Anunnaki themselves. And that pissed Enlil off like you wouldn't believe, and he kicked them out of the garden. They had to. If you read the Book of Adam, you see that there was these guards with weapons at the gates of this garden, which sounds more to me like an outdoor laboratory. They had mating times. You can't be caught mating out of your time. They were basically experimenting on how to reproduce humans at a very fast rate. It was all about creating a slave race. When they got kicked out, he was so distraught about being kicked out of that laboratory and out into the wilderness that he went right into the water with Eve, and he then tried to drown himself. He was so distraught. He was wailing and crying, and he tried to commit suicide. And then one of the soldiers came over and dragged him out, so he wouldn't kill himself. So this is it's really a gut-wrenching story. This is in the Apocrypha text left out of the Bible. But and also, if you want to look at it in a metaphorical way, metaphorical way, if you want to look at it in a totally different understanding of Satan, you have good and evil throughout the entire universe. You have light and dark, yin and yang. It permeates everything. You can't have one without the other, and there's this balance. And so, one thing you have to understand is Satan represents darkness based on everything we know about it, and that's the same darkness that could be in your own mind. So heaven and hell could be simply a state of mind. Literally, it could be a state of mind. You can put yourself in hell and you can torture yourself, or you can put yourself in heaven, all through conscious thought. If somebody does something to you to piss you off, you have to make a decision. Do you allow yourself to be angry on a consistent basis because all you're doing is hurting your own self and torturing your own self? Or can you get over it, pass through it, and reprogram yourself to be at peace again so that you don't torture yourself, putting yourself in hell, right? So we can become our own Satans and torture our own selves, and we can have our own voices in our head talking darkness to us. That's what I believe is really going on. Someone said Christ the King. Hey, if you believe Christ is King, then hey, more power to you. I believe that the Christ consciousness is King. That's my opinion. Hey, Kels and Prophet, I talked a little bit about the merger that's getting ready to happen with Sabanic. Their stock symbol is SNNC. And we have right now our last round of raising capital. Right now, we're in our last round of doing private shares. And I'll drop a link in the live chat. If you are an accredited investor and you want to buy some shares of Forbidden Knowledge, You do have one last opportunity to get these shares before all this pops off. I'm dropping the link in the live chat right now. Okay. And it's also in the caption of this video or this audio. If you want to go to the section where it says you can buy shares of Forbidden Knowledge. This is our last private round. After this, there'll be no more private rounds of shares. Okay. Shares are $2.75 a piece right now. Great opportunity for you. Take advantage of it. Read up on all the information and make an educated decision on what you want to do. But there's the link to the to where you can go read up more information, and you can also then make a pledge to buy shares. We don't take your credit card and everything over the internet right away. There's a whole process to go through when you're buying private shares. But you can make a pledge to buy private shares of Forbidden Knowledge. I just dropped a link in the live chat. Okay. To give you an idea where it's gone, in the first round it was $1. The second round was $1.50. The third round was $2.50, and the fourth round was $2.75. And right now, the fifth round, we still kept it at $2.75, which is where we are right now. Okay. All right. All right, guys, I got to get off of this thing. I'm getting a little late here. I got to work on some other stuff, but I'm writing a new TV series, a docu-series. I'm actually co-writing this docu-series with Brad Olson and another gentleman named David. And this is going to be an incredible series on a major streaming platform. Major, like huge major, and we're excited about it. And so we're working on that now. Can't tell you exactly what it is and exactly what we're doing. Signed NDAs already, but I got to get to work tonight because I want to have some outlines and some acts ready. Act 1, 2, 3, 4 for all these different areas and things that we're working on. So I got to get to work on that here tonight and get back to the grind, man. It's a nonstop grind, but this is going to be exciting. You're going to hear a lot more about this soon. I just can't I just can't give you all the information right now. Okay. So appreciate y'all. All right. Let's see just one last question here. Nay says, we are going into the Aquarian age instead of the age of Aries. In astrology, Aries is after Pisces and Aquarius is before. Okay. Well, that's a statement. Yeah. All right. Hi, Billy. The Compendium of the Emerald Tablets has been mailed to me. Can't wait to read it. Okay, great. Thank you for buying the book, Salsa 4177. Yeah, if you ordered the book, it'll definitely show up at your house. So, yeah, absolutely. I'd appreciate you. And hopefully you can come meet me in person. And so that way I can actually sign the book for you. Okay. And you can actually meet me in person. Everyone here can meet me in person very soon at the LAX Marriott. I will be at the Manifest Destiny event. That's going to be located in LA, Los Angeles, California. Okay. Los Angeles, California, November the 8th. And I'm going to drop the link to you right now. November the 8th, Los Angeles, California. It's going to be an 8-hour event, an all-day event, live in person, fully interactive. Okay. And it's going to have Robert Edward Grant will be there speaking. And Mike Rashid will be there as well speaking. We're going to have a book signing. So all three of us have best-selling books. So all of our books we'll be doing a huge book signing there. I just dropped a link in the live chat. Make sure you guys register for Manifest Destiny. I do it every single year, but this year is going to be really, really incredible because I'm back to doing it in person now instead of virtually. I used to do them in person before the pandemic, but now that we're back to doing things in person, I'm going to do a fully interactive workshop where you'll be doing specific movements with your body parts and everything else in the actual live event. It's going to be a fully interactive. We're going to show you things that your body can do that you didn't even know can be done. Fully interactive manifesting workshop, the newest and greatest manifesting techniques, the newest science behind it, all the new studies, all the new information, and you're going to get a step-by-step guide on how to change your life and change your family's life and change the legacy of your downline, your bloodline forever. This is going to be a huge event, and we're looking forward to it. I'll drop the link one more time to Manifest Destiny 2025. I want to see everyone there, okay? Everyone there, if you can make it, it's going to be an incredible event. We were supposed to do it in February this year, but then the fires came. And of course, didn't make any sense to go to LA and do something when people were sleeping in hotels because their homes were gone. So now that everything is kind of leveling out, water always finds its level. We'll be back now. So we just rescheduled it for November the 8th. So if you had a ticket, I think 16 people had tickets when we had first launched because they had just started a couple days in, and then we decided we had to move it because of the fire. But those 16 people get free access to this event, okay? because they've already paid. Not free, but they get access to this event because it's the same exact event. No difference. Just move the date, okay? For those 16 people, just bring your ticket and come on down and have a great time. It's going to be a great day. We're going to have a red carpet, photo opportunities, a VIP section, a meet and greet, the whole works. It's going to be dynamic. Bring your books with you so that I can sign them, and Robert can sign them, and Mike can sign them. If you don't have the books, we'll have some there that you can get, and we'll sign them right there for you on the spot. Take some photos, lots of hugs, lots of love. It's going to be an amazing time. All right. That's going to be Manifest Destiny 2025. And the last thing I want to drop to y'all before I get out of here is the Mercedes-Benz giveaway. We've given away now 5 cars. We just gave away the previous Mercedes raffle ended, and we gave away a car to Alex. But now we have another raffle, and this one is part of the money is going to help the children in the Congo. Okay, you might have gotten a text about it earlier or something like that. We've been promoting this one, and you can either take the car or take the cash value. And the reason why I say that now is because we've had now 2 people take the cash value. When Austin won the Rolls Royce, he took the cash value of the car. That's why we have a picture of him on. Go to my Instagram account. You'll see a picture of him holding up the check for $88,000. And then we had Chantel Broughton at the Conscious Awards win on site the Mercedes-Benz. Her and her partner, I call her, I don't know if it was her husband or not, they chose the cash value. So we sent them a wire as well. So you can take the vehicle or the cash value, okay? But you're helping children. So it's a great benefit. Enter the Mercedes-Benz giveaway, okay? That's the link again in the live chat. It's also in the caption of this video. Make sure you guys get a ticket. The more tickets you get, the cheaper they are too as well, just in case you didn't know that. And you'll be doing a great service helping these orphans in the Congo. As you have seen me help them for many years now. You saw I gave $10,000 over 2 years, 5,000 and 5,000. Prior to that, I was giving like 1,500 a year. Just gave this year so far, I think a total of 1,500 already. And these are, I've done podcasts with Shaka Bars. You've seen him on stage with the checks and everything else. And it's just something that we just believe in, because these children, they can't control where they're born. They don't come out of the womb and say, I want to be born in Miami, Florida. They're born wherever they're born, and they have no say so. And if you're born in a country where you can walk outside and not see people killing each other, you hit the genetic lottery, and be very, very grateful for. There we go. Okay. I guess it's when the mic went down, the mute stayed on for some reason. Okay, here we go. So what I was saying was, these children, I'll say it one more time. These children can't control where they're born. They're born in a place where it's very toxic. And what I was saying was, if you can go outside right now and you can you don't see any dead bodies in the street or people getting raped or killed, you're blessed. And you need to really show a lot of gratitude for the position that you're in. I don't care if you're struggling financially. I don't care if you're going through a bad situation. I don't care if you just broke up with your girlfriend or your wife or your husband. I don't care, because these kids, their situation is 10,000 times worse in the Congo. And that's why I'm doing the raffle, to help support them. I did a free workshop months ago to help support them, or a couple months ago. I'm just going to continue to do things that help support them. I've already given $10,000 over the course of 2 years at both Conscious Award events, live and in living color. Prior to that was $1,500 a year for like 3 years. This year we've already given an extra $1,500, and now, because of the workshop I did prior, and now we're doing this raffle to help give more money so that these kids can have a place to sleep and be safe. Some of them are disabled; they've already lost limbs. There's a war going on. Their parents are getting slaughtered, and they don't even have a place to sleep, some of them. So Shaka Bars, I trust him and his team. They've been building these orphanages. We see the orphanages. We see the kids sending, I have WhatsApp messages of them saying thank you and sending thank you messages from the place that they're living and sleeping. And it's just a great benefit. Okay. It's just great. So, it's an atrocity. Like I said before, we know about what's going on in the Middle East. We know all about it. Okay. Let me take this down. But we can't forget about the children in the Congo and what they're going through right now. They're going through something horrific, just as horrific as what's going on in the Middle East. And my heart goes out to them, because they can't control where they're born. They just come out of the womb and they're already in it, and there's nothing they can do. So it's our job as people who have the ability to, earn for ourselves and have a roof over our head and eat, no matter what level you're doing it at. We're still way better off than those kids. If you have a cell phone or a device, a tablet or a TV to watch me on right now and hear what I'm saying, you're 10,000 years ahead of these kids already. So we have to have some kind of gratitude and maybe make a very small sacrifice to help them out. That's what it's all about. All right. I appreciate y'all. I love y'all. Thanks for hopping on tonight. And I'll be back on to this weekend. I'll do a pop-up podcast live, but I'm also going to do some pre-recorded content for my brand new Forbidden Knowledge Academy launching next week. I'm really looking forward to the Forbidden Knowledge Academy. I'm really looking forward to having y'all inside of my coaching group and interacting with you, and bringing a lot of my years of wisdom and knowledge along with my team of people that I'm bringing in there as well to help people get to the next level. Okay. I appreciate y'all. I love y'all. And thank you for all the donations tonight. I'm going to make sure all of that, 100% of the money donated tonight, is going to go to the children of the Congo. And I always post my receipts when we send it. All right. Love you guys.
Forbidden Knowledge Television.
This is logged in on November 25th, 2023, Eastern Standard Time. Sensitive material has been breached, and it is now in front of the public. This is very sensitive documentation, and the world will be in total chaos if leaked, and it is now leaked. All of it. Not one document, all of it. Place of exploitation, Forbidden Knowledge Television. This must be stopped.